Victor here again, and I'm coming back to you today in order to discuss my own struggle with hair loss when it first began and how I handled that. I mean, obviously, I'm not struggling with it too much just yet. As I've said a couple times, I'm 27 years old, and I do still have most of my hair, though by pictures, I've looked back at some old pictures and I can tell I've definitely thinned pretty much all over here in comparison to when I was, say, 20. So, yeah, there is that. I didn't begin to notice it until either right before or right after my daughter was born. So, about 2.5 years ago was when I first started noticing it. And at that time, I really freaked out. Um, Long hair was such an integral part of my identity. It was, I was, this long haired guy, long, beautiful, like golden bronze hair that was the envy of women everywhere. At least, pretty much that was, at least in high school and college, I actually had women tell me that they were mad that I had such great hair. But that's, a story or not for another time. Um, no, I really like freaked out, had a little bit of an internal crisis at the time because it was something that used to be so important to me. But I decided then and there, I said to myself, I had decided previously, as I said in my previous video, that if I ever did start losing my hair, that I wasn't going to hang on to it in such a hopeless way like some of the guys I've seen do. I had already decided that if I were to lose my hair, that I would just shave it off. Well, at that time, some time went by. I was still freaking out about it a bit. I had still decided to keep my hair as long as I could until it was absolutely certain that it was going. But there was something that I did. Not only my resolve to shave if I were to go bald, but there was something else that I did that really helped me to be able to cope with the thought of losing my hair. What I did at the time was, I'm a little bit of a casual gamer, and I love games where you can create your own characters. Skyrim is a current favorite of mine to play. Make all the jokes you want about how many re-releases Skyrim has had. Um, I'm still playing it on its original release platform. That generation, Xbox 360, PS3. Anyway, that's beside the point. What I started doing was I created a Nord character who was a heavy warrior who was bald, like clean bald with a beard, and I played that and I played that, and the more I played as that character, the more I actually became okay with the thought of losing my own hair. I actually began to be able to somewhat identify with the bald and bearded look. Of course, I also had to keep in mind the fact that I'm not actually able to grow a beard, so, the full beard is a bit out of the question, though I had considered trying minoxidil to get the beard to fill in, but for the same reason that I'm not going to use all of those products to get my hair to come back, I'm not going to do it for my beard either, because it's a lot of money and it's a lot of hassle for a long time. And so, as I've said before, that's just my answer. That's just my way of dealing with hair loss, is to just let it be what it is. For any of you other guys out there, something else may be what it takes to help you have peace. Whether you want to just say, screw it, shave it all off. Like I said, my hair used to be this long. That was about the fullest length my hair would grow, and it would stop. was halfway down my back, and my hair, I'd cut it a couple of times, and my hair was about this length already. Again, it was starting to get to a respectable length when I just decided, you know what, it doesn't look good here anymore. It was starting to get so thin that I could see all the way down to my scalp. This is just a couple months ago. I could see through my hair to the scalp, and if I raised it like this and took a picture, it was so thin, like it would almost look like it was more full up here, but it was so thin down here that it almost looked like a wig sitting on top of a bald head. Because my hairline, like this right here, is actually almost where my hairline naturally goes. So I already had such a tall forehead, that for it to start receding up here and thinning here, it was at least noticeable to myself. So yeah, I shaved that off, as you can see, and as I said, at one point I even tried the razor shave. But yeah, essentially that is my story of you know my hair loss journey so far, and how I have handled dealing with the despair of identifying so heavily with my hair, and having never expected to lose it. I fully expected that I would be an old man with just long silver hair. I fully expected that that would be my situation, because at the time I didn't know of any hair loss in my family. And when I started noticing it in myself, there was a bit of a "that's not fair" kind of reaction, like, how could I possibly be losing my hair when I don't know of anyone else in my family with hair loss? Come to find out, my dad's dad had some hair loss. I don't know to what degree because I never met him. But yeah, there's that. And then I found out that my uncle on my mom's side, my younger uncle, had actually been having some hair loss, but his seizure medication, from some trauma back in his 20s, he's on a seizure medication, and that has actually been helping his hair grow back. So he hasn't really been worried about it. But see, I didn't know about any of that, but now I do, and I have been able to process through it. And yes, I do still miss my hair sometimes. It still is, in some ways, a part of myself, because in years and life experience, I'm not all that far removed from identifying with my hair yet. It was only a couple months back that I was still at least somewhat identifying with my hair. And, you know, I can only imagine that for some of you who are going through this, it's even more so than what I was going through. I know so many of you are younger than I am, with less hair than I have, and probably identified with your hair just as much as I did. And, you know, had I been losing my hair in my early 20s or my late teens, honestly, I would probably be in the same place of this sense of doom and dread and, absolute despair that so many of the young guys in the balding community are, that I have seen. And the fact that they would, for example, attack Nick Shell on his videos in the comments section for essentially like, how dare you tell us that there's hope when you've already got it made. And there's a part of me that, there's a part of me that's like, oh, stop it with that. You're just hurting yourself more, and what you're saying isn't true. But, of course, there is the other part of me that does seek to empathize with that, because even though I can't fully, because it hasn't been my direct experience, I can imagine that I would be in a much similar place had I been that young when my own hair loss started. So That said, having shared my journey so far and my intentions, I want to reach out to all of you, to say that I am here for you. If you have anything at all that you want to ask me, anything you want to discuss with me, please reach out in the comments and I will do what I can to try to help you. So thank you for watching my video. Please come back, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video. Goodbye.